What's up guys? Today we're gonna put in a shed door. This video will be for people with 70s or newer houses. This is a very new build, so everything's pretty straightforward. I built the opening to accept this door. If your house is 70s or older, it can be a lot tougher to install a new door in an old opening because the openings might not be suitable for that size door, and you have to reframe or change some of your opening to accept the new door, which can be pretty difficult and not beginner friendly because you'll be messing with the siding, you'll be messing with the plaster on the inside. So in those cases, if you're not very experienced, I would say probably hire a professional. But for this, if it's 70s or newer and you're confident you can get the old door out, which is as simple as popping the trim off on the inside and the outside and then taking a Sawzall and cutting the screws and then taking the old frame out, popping the new one in. It's pretty straightforward. This one's very easy, very simple. So this is for those newer houses. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into it. Here's what I'll be using to install everything. I'm not gonna explain all of this because I think you know what most of it is. For fasteners, I like GRK. They have a little bit more shear strength, like a nail versus a screw. Shear strength will help with people kicking in your door, and screws can snap where nails kind of bend. This is something more in between. And then for these screws, I like this type of countersinking bit so that you can hide the screw hole, putty it, whatever, without splitting the wood. Those are great. Aside from that, all your basic hand tools are necessary. The door is gonna come with some instructions. You can read that if you'd like. I don't like to, so I won't. Take off all the packaging. I genuinely don't love factory trim. This will be coming off for me, but I'm gonna install it with it on just so you know how it goes. But it is rare that it is done well out of the factory, especially from the box stores. I'd say make sure you verify your opening. I know mine fits, I already tested it. You're gonna want to take this guy off as well. I like to try and get this guy recessed. I can take him out later, but he is currently locking the door to the jamb, so I'm gonna leave it. We're gonna set the door aside for a second and grab our level. So, like I said, I framed these walls, they're good. But the slab I had some trouble with when I was framing because I realized it was pretty out. About a 1/4 inch over 2 feet, which is pretty bad. So that would affect our door opening and closing properly. This side is our trouble child. So I'll show you how to deal with that. Shims are your best friend. I don't love using non-treated shims on a slab. So I cut some pressure treated shims just out of a spare 2x4 I had. That or PVC or composite, whatever. Just don't use untreated lumber on a slab or an exterior application like this. Money. Now you want to shim in a couple places. You definitely want to shim on the far side where the jamb connects to the wall. But if you don't shim the middle, you're gonna get a nasty little bounce in there whenever someone steps on your threshold. So at least those 2 locations, more would be better. Now for the bottom, the sill, the best way to do this is with a sill pan. It's like a piece of plastic that gets squashed down with some silicone, and it has a Z shape to it where the one part of the Z goes down and around your subfloor or your slab, and then the back half of the Z is on the back side of the door and it goes up, and it kind of creates just a water barrier where if it splashes, it goes under the door. It can't go back and touch any of your framing. For this being a shed, not too worried about it. So I'll show you how you can do it. if you don't want to buy the sill pan. You can also make them if you're pretty savvy with some aluminum or metal bending, but I'm not, and I don't need to be in this application. Some might call that overkill, and I think I do too. And with that, we are ready to set our door. I'm gonna show you two places you can apply screws. One is more traditional, and I think old school is how I was taught. The other, I might get some flack for, and I'm gonna do the other first. So my hinge is right here. I'm gonna go right above it, and I'm gonna go through the thicker part of the jamb. And if you could tell, that beautiful bit does a nice recessed hole for me, and it's awesome. Same thing right above the hinges. And before I hear any flack for security issues here, this will get puttied and painted and you won't really be able to see where they are. But I'm also gonna add a second round of screws behind the gasket where you can't reach. And that is, I believe, the old school way of doing it. That's how I was taught, at least. If you don't already have one of these bits, these are the best. Check this out. Double-sided T25 star bit and Phillips head on one side. I use it every day. It's amazing. I'm just gonna get these started. Now we're gonna have to shim behind these screws once we have our door nice and level. All right. Now I'm just going to temporarily just attach that, not drive it home, so I can pull out this guy and try opening this. Now we need to check for level, and we need to check for plumb on our hinge side, always first. Hinge always first. And we're gonna check our threshold to make sure we don't have to adjust our shims. And we're looking good. We are connecting all of these. We're not driving them home. So this is telling us we need to go more to my left. Looking good. Now you're gonna grab your shims, hammer if you prefer. And with shims, you want them to be square, so you don't want to just put them in one way. You usually want to put in two so that they go in, and there's a tapered skinny side and a tapered thicker side, and they go in like that, opposite each other, versus you go in the same direction. They're gonna make a big old wedge, and that's gonna throw your door frame out of square. That's what we want, about an 1/8 inch recess to give us enough space to put some putty in there, okay? And we're gonna keep checking this side for level. This is our most important side to check. Still looking good. So since we're looking good, we just wanna put our shims in snug with a little bit of a tap of a hammer. Almost forgot, you want to check this direction too, as well as this direction, okay? If it's leaning out, it's gonna affect how it closes. It might make the door open or close by itself. Don't want that. Don't need no haunted houses or sheds. And once the hinge side is plumbed, you're gonna wanna just keep checking your reveal around the door. It needs to be even for it to shut properly and seal properly. All right, we're closing good now. Just a lot of micro adjustments. even on a new build. Before you drive all the screws home, got to make sure you have ample shimming in there. Again, keep checking your reveal. You want that 1/8 to light quarter, not quite a quarter. 1/8 inch is ideal, all the way around. Okay, we're closing good. Making sure our reveal is the same everywhere. We drive all of those screws home, and then I will show you now the other place to put screws. You can do either or both. I'm gonna do both, because why not? And I'm gonna show you another little tip. If you haven't seen it already, it's pretty awesome. This side, we're gonna go into the hinge hole with the provided screws, so we don't need extra screws on that side. This side, we don't have that. So here's the tip. Move your gasket, your weather stripping. Just start it, all right? Just like that. And now go in reverse. Make sure you have a steady hand. And then go in reverse and push. What that does is hollow out the screw hole and acts as if you pre-drilled it without having to pre-drill it. And then you can send that guy home. I'm gonna add a little bit more shim in that area before I do that, but that is the tip. And you won't see these, so you don't have to caulk them or paint them if you don't want to. And there it is. Okay, there are 2 little gaskets they give you that go down here at the bottom. What I like to do is put a little, this will be clear once it dries, but it's not right now. A little bead of clear right there. Right there. And we take our gaskets, little peel and stick guys. You want the thick side on the weather stripping side. They're kind of wedge shaped. And you put it behind the weather stripping, tight against the threshold, push it firmly on there. And that's it. Easy peasy, right? And another spot I recommend caulking. You can do it after you paint, or if you're gonna do it before you paint like I'm doing, make sure you use a clear paintable caulk. And go right here. Because this is not waterproof, believe it or not. This is primed pine, and as it ages and gets weathered, it will wick up water. So we want to protect those areas where wicking is possible. Okay, this is paintable exterior sealant. It's not silicone, although there is paintable silicone. When it dries, I can paint it. Now for the screws, the hinge screws, they come with them. They're not as strong as my GRKs, but it will help make it a little more secure. Start your screw. And we don't want to split the wood, right? So we do that trick again, reverse, reverse. Hollow out that hole. Okay, I'm just getting it started, because what I'm gonna do is shim below the hinge now, because we already shimmed above where our screws are. Be careful with the reverse trick if you don't have a steady hand, because it can slip very easily and you'll be very sad when you pop a hole in your new door. Yeah. Beautiful. So that's all there is to it. Okay, I'm gonna trim it out right now, paint it, make it look pretty, and I'll show you the final product. 3, 2, 1. There she is. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna end with a pro tip on this latch right here. Quick tip that you might not have seen before for making sure your strike plates are lined up perfectly. You want some foil tape, duct tape, not the rubbery kind, but the metal kind like this. It's good to have on hand if you do not have some. It's not too expensive. You're going to put this over your plates. Make sure it's nice and flat. Doesn't have to be on there too good. And put it over both the latch and the deadbolt. Okay. Then you're gonna pull the door shut, but turn the bottom lock so that it doesn't extend. You want it recessed in the side of the door. Pull it shut, then open, close, open, close, open, close a couple times. Same thing with the deadbolt, just a little tap. Okay. And then what you'll see is a nice hole there, so that's exactly where your deadbolt wants to go. See where that wants to hit. Then you can take your strike plates, turn them upside down, and line up this guy with the vertical line you see made from the latch. And then I'm just gonna poke a hole where my screws go, just like that. Same thing with the top. Okay, pre-drill through those locations. Remove the tape. This stuff might peel off your fresh paint, so be careful. Perfect. Goodbye. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to look up.